time for the Loco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj. Hey, Loco Sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown. Wes is taking the night off. Well, not really. He's going to bed like the rest of us should. He did not take the night off. He was out at the nest, and I have videos from him uploading as we speak. So hopefully we'll get to check out some highlights from the nest tonight, where May River girls and May River boys coming out victorious on the road. We've got lots of other basketball to talk tonight. Justin Jarrett, Max Araj, and Marcus Walsh. What's going on, boys? You guys got out into the gyms. Although I am not going to bed right now, I did take a nap. So, you know.
I don't blame you, JJ. It's been wild and crazy. And I mean, there's so much basketball to watch. I had meetings earlier today, and I said I've been hitting the gyms and just seeing a bunch of action. I was at the Bluffton-Colleton County games, 35-31. The ladies of Bluffton get the job done, and then the guys rolled. They were up 12-5 at the end of one. We had our first dunk of the night with Carnell Warren, and then he had a layup in the second quarter. The guys were up 24-8 at half. They end up going on to win 63-31, and they just absolutely dominated. Took a little while for Harrison Skinner to get that shot going, but it started at the free throw line. He ended up having like 17 points, and he started to look like the Harrison Skinner I remember from his days at HHCA. A bunch of other guys did a great job as well, and it was a very physical night at the Den that you might expect from both the girls and guys in their matchups against Colleton County. And the Colleton County girls gave Bluffton a run, but too much Bobcats for the Colleton County guys.
We do have one game still in progress at this late hour, believe it or not. Wow. And fortunately for us, it is live on Beaufort's Own. And unfortunately for us, it's not a very competitive game. Battery Creek getting hammered by Orangeburg Wilkinson, number 2 team in the state. So, we've should have well prepared you for the difficulty that is the Battery Creek region this year, because we've talked a lot about how good that region is, and they're getting to find out. And I've got a score, boys, that just came in. Should I make the sound effect?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, where's the sound effect? Here we go. This is not, I'm not misspeaking when I say this. Final, JP2 boys 76, Camden Military 9.
Wow.
Garrett Heathcock. Your boy Garrett Heathcock, Marcus Walsh. Your boy Garrett Heathcock had 16 on his 17th birthday.
Hey, Garrett, happy birthday, buddy.
There we go. Happy birthday.
I'll see you Sunday.
That's the way to celebrate your birthday. Oh, my God.
How about it?
Yeah.
10 players with at least one basket for JP2. They got a big one Thursday night at home against Lawrence Manning, and then Friday at Trinity Collegiate. So tougher tests ahead, but TCOB tonight for JP2. 76-9. Awesome. I love that coach actually put not a misprint in there, because, I mean, you would kind of think, like, did he leave a number off that second score? What
That's beautiful.
But, nah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty good little beat down. Pretty good little beat down.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, look, you can call out the dogs, but you can't make them score. Like, that's on them. They got to do that themselves. So, wow. Yeah, that was something else. Adding that one to the ticker. We'll keep adding them as we get them. And,
where were you at tonight, Max?
Work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard JJ say that we were all in gyms, so I wasn't sure if you were at a game or not.
No, not tonight. I wish I was not working. I wish I was working Monday rather than tonight, because honestly, the game I went to last night, like I said, between Cross,
I was going to say, if you're working, you're probably in a gym, right? So it still counts.
I did watch some youth basketball games at the 11 to 12.
I wasn't wrong. Games. I don't remember saying that, but if I did, I wasn't wrong.
And I had to deal with some 4 to 6 year old.
You were not wrong.
Saturday, so that was always fun. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we're still looking for some scores, but here's what we got at this hour. Orangeburg Wilkinson girls 42-21 over Battery Creek. Bishop England over Beaufort
Up nice,
56-45. Pretty good matchup there. Beaufort gave them a good game.
And
Bluffton
Yep.
girls knock off Colleton 35-31. Mentioned it before, but May River over Hilton Head in overtime 52-47. 19 points for Liz Duncan, 13 for Brooke Dalton. 16 apiece for Leah Jackson and Amaya Roten from Hilton Head. Looking for a few here. Liberty County over Cross girls 54-51 or 54-41, I believe. I mistyped. That was a misprint. And then I had heard Hilton Head Christian girls were down in double OT, but I don't know if that was final or not. I had 24-20 in double OT, which is wild. That Battery Creek game coming near close. I think it may be over now. So that one's gone final. We'll get a final score from that momentarily. Bishop England over Beaufort, boys side 64-55. Bluffton blows out Colleton County, as Marcus Walsh mentioned, 63-31. And May River with the 61-49 win over Hilton Head. So the Sharks stay unbeaten in Region 6 4A. Bethesda over Cross 57-51. And as mentioned, JP2 76, Camden Military 9.
I think I saw 60.
Three
I think
field
I saw
goals.
65-40 on the OW.
Yes.
BC
Yeah.
game.
Final score from the boys' game 65-40 in favor of the number 2 team in all of 3A basketball, Orangeburg Wilkinson. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
We've mentioned this before, but that region that Battery Creek unfortunately is unfortunately put in when it comes to basketball is never going to be easy, because not only is there Orangeburg Wilkinson, there's also Oceanside Collegiate, North Charleston, and all 3 of those teams are ranked at least in the top 10, if not top 15 teams in all of 3A basketball. So that's unfortunately what Battery Creek's region competition will be this year. So yeah, good luck, boys. So
here's some
about that.
Here's some good news. Bridges Prep girls with a region win, 41-16 over Edisto. 41-16.
Way to go,
good
ladies.
Good win.
Lots of people are going to have good nights against Edisto, it would seem.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, well, I look forward to seeing Hampton County and Edisto fight off.
To playing Edisto, and you can wait. They might have already smoked Edisto the other night. No, this was their first region game. No, they did play one. I think they did already play Edisto. Yeah, 66-11. 66-11. So yeah. Edisto is at the bottom end of the
I have not seen
the region
yet
appear.
I have not seen a final for Hilton Head Christian yet, so I will keep looking for that, but I've not seen anything quite yet.
If you have confirmed finals, hit us in the comments. Let us know.
Please.
We'll get it updated. I know the Canes took a couple losses, but I don't know what the scores were. Bamberg's pretty strong. I don't know about Ridgeland Royal Live Oaks either. That was a local. Well, maybe not. Royal Live Oaks might have shut down the girls because they disappeared off the schedule.
Interesting. Hold on one second.
It happens at the 1A charters.
I've got some stats for the games that I saw at my disposal. I mentioned Harry Skinner for the Bluffton guys. He ended up with 17. Aiden McCarthy with 9. Isaiah Gadsden had a couple. Graydon Arnold with a couple of big points as well late in the game. Cordell Holly got a couple of points late. Brandon White, you've talked about him a lot, Max, and we all have. He ended up playing really well. He got close to double digits, as did Aiden McCarthy, again with the 9 points. So really a good effort with a lot of guys touching the ball, a lot of guys scoring. Robert Parks led the way for the Colleton County guys, and then a bunch of guys just chipped in a bucket here and there, obviously only putting up that 31 points for the Colleton County guys. And on the other side, really a grinder between Colleton County and Bluffton on the girls' side. Lillian Mitchell rather with a couple of points. Daniel with a couple of points. Hudson was able to knock some shots down from inside the arc and outside the arc for Colleton County. And on the Bluffton girls side, really impressed with what Madison Wallace did. McMahon played really strong, did some good things. Robinson as well. Of course, Amira Brown and Tamara Bolden were able to get into the action and make things happen as well. Both games, again, very physical. And one thing that I will say, especially in the girls' game, part of the reason of the score being down, of course, in the 30s, there were a lot of turnovers. Both teams definitely will want to clean those things up. But definitely two very physical basketball games that I saw in the Den. And games in the Den usually are physical because that's the way that they play, coach by coach.
Yeah, well, and I think it's the way it's officiated at that level too. Like
That's true too.
It's a physical game. It's hard to call everything. You'll be there all freaking night. Like you gotta pull the reins at some point and not call it all. But yeah, it's that region in particular. They get after it pretty physically. So
going to be seeing a lot of 6-4A in our newly set up basketball schedule.
Oh yeah, you have yet another update to your basketball schedule. No one can keep this straight, man. Just tell us a couple days before, and we'll all show up. So I can't keep my own schedule straight.
It's wild. We will be seeing that JP2 Hilton Head Christian game next Tuesday at the moment, and then we'll be on site for the Friday, February 7th matchup between May River and Beaufort. And then we will be on site for the Beaufort Hilton Head game on Tuesday, February 11th. Maria Soden will film the May River Bluffton game that night as well. And then Kevin and I will call it in studio on the 13th of February. And we'll have guests on for the second quarter that will, talk with me and whatnot, looking to get Misa on for that final May River Bluffton matchup, if that can work for him at the WHHI studio. Max will plan on having you with us for JP2 HHCA. And then I've got a couple other folks from Beaufort and Hilton Head, since they're the host teams, that I have in mind for those middle games. But Jeremy Pope, Maria Soden, Larry Jacomot, Kevin Libby, and yours truly, we're going to be bringing you all the action. Of course, Lisa Richardson, I'm sure, will be around as well at some of these games because
she's everywhere.
A great job. She does a great job supporting everything, not just for us, but with FCA as well. So you said that correctly, JJ. That woman is everywhere. She's terrific.
Everywhere I go, there she is.
Without her, yeah, no doubt.
And I'm sure she's at a lot of places I don't make it to. So,
I have no doubt of that too.
All right, boys. Well, the show tonight presented by our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. They're our original sponsor, been with us since the beginning, since 2017 when we got LowcoSports off the ground. Mickelson Law Firm has been a major supporter, so we appreciate all their help and hope that you will call on them if you have legal needs right in downtown Bluffton. They can help you with all your legal needs. We especially I've had great experience personally with them as a real estate closing attorney. They're our official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And we'll get you those HHCA scores as soon as we come across them. So big story tonight, hoops. But let's shift gears real quick and talk about a couple other things that came across today. Couple that will that struck your heartstrings, I'm sure, Max, and one that fills us all with a little bit of pride. Ron Peduzzi, honored by the American Football Coaches Association for 35 years of service. 35 years coaching football. Love to see that. Just awesome. We've seen.
Attaboy, Ron. Attaboy.
Yeah. We've seen personally. I mean, I've seen it for almost 20 years now, and we've all seen it. The impact that he's had on a number of kids, and wherever he goes, they win. You know, I mean, they get better and they win wherever he goes. And he's built a hell of a program at Hilton Head Christian. He's a big part of the reason kids want to go there to play football, you know. So shout out to him. That's great stuff from him. And then Maxie, your buddy, Lucas O'Grady, boys soccer head coach at Hilton Head Prep. Love it.
Attaboy, Lucas. That's what I like to hear. I'm so happy for him. That's a great opportunity to build that program over there at Hilton Head Prep, which has already been a strong program over the years. So to have him there teaching these kids his experiences at the high school level and the college level, it's going to be really cool. And I'm so happy for him, and I'm sure the rest of the O'Grady family is also very excited for him as well. And so I can't wait to see him on the soccer fields this spring for Hilton Head Prep. It should be really, really exciting to see him out there. I couldn't be more proud of him. That's a really cool thing to see today. And hopefully we can get him on our show and talk with him about it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. And
we were considering we were going to add him to the Loco FC at one point last year, possibly, or get him in there, and now he's going to be too busy for all that. But we'll get him in. We'll get him in to talk to him about his journey through the sport and this opportunity at Hilton Head Prep for sure. That program has kind of fallen off for a few years, and it's good to see them get somebody in there. I think
he'll be the one. He'll be the one to bring them back to what they were. Yeah. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, the girls have been great, but they haven't had as much, as big of a team or as strong of a team on the boys' side. Getting better each year, but there was a while there where they were very strong, and then they kind of went through a lull. And then one other thing, I'll save the rest for parting thoughts probably, but one other thing I wanted to get up top so people know about it. Very cool opportunity. We were talking last night about what we're doing with One Loco and our clinics and trying to just get kids, opportunities to get out and on the field, the court, whatever, and get reps. How about this? Kieran McCardle, pro lacrosse player who lives right here in our community, is putting on a free lacrosse clinic for grades K through 8. It's going to be next Saturday, the 26th at Ulmer Field in Bluffton. And Kieran reached out today. I had already seen it and shared the thing out on my personal. He reached out and asked that we share it, and I was like, absolutely. And would love to have you on to promote it as well. So we're going to try to find a night this week or next when he can jump in with us and give us a little bit of a rundown of what's happening on the local lacrosse scene, because he's jumped in with both feet. I mean, he's still an active professional player, and even in season, he's like running clinics and practices for Rush Lacrosse and that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what we were talking about last night. The people who make it, and then you want to see them pay it forward and try to help somebody else go as far as they can go. And cool. Kieran's doing that. He is absolutely committed to building the sport in the Low Country. And I didn't grow up with lacrosse, so it's not something that really registers that much for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it, especially well played games. But I love the growth of any sport, because it just, as we all know, not every sport is for everybody. And when you find the one that makes your heart sing, it's just awesome.
Well,
Max, what were you saying? I didn't quite get that.
Oh, very fast growing sport here in this area. It has grown a lot over the years. And, like wrestling here in this area, wrestling has grown so much over the last few years. So has lacrosse. Lacrosse is one of those other sports that you can say, wow, this has grown a lot. And more schools are adding it to their repertoire of team sports. As, an athletic program like Hilton Head Christian Academy added it last year. And I'm sure we're eventually going to have more private schools add it to their schedule.
For sure.
In the foreseeable future.
I've always thought it was odd that the private schools weren't where it grew here first.
And I don't know if Skeeza's gotten a full lacrosse league or anything.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they do either, but it's just it's always felt like that was such a natural fit.
Because I don't know if Hilton Head Christian played any Skeeza teams last season. Like, they were playing Bishop England was one of the teams I know they played.
They played a couple. I think they played Trinity and I don't think there's a lot of
I
SCISA
would
teams,
like,
but I expect
I'd like
that
to see schools
to happen.
yeah, like in the next 3 to 4 years, I expect to see more private schools open up lacrosse programs. Like JP2 would be a school I would absolutely 100%
Oh,
see
for sure.
opening up a lacrosse program. Hilton Head Prep is another one. I would love to see
Yes.
them
Yep.
open up and build it around SCISA, because if they don't have a league in SCISA, they definitely should, because it's growing fast, not just here in the Low Country, but across the entire state of South Carolina. And I think it's about time that SCISA added a lacrosse
Yeah.
league across
I mean,
SCISA.
the only thing I can figure is there just haven't been enough players to go around, and the
And I
public
don't
schools
think
kind of
there's
got ahead of it
right,
and had
but I don't.
programs, so then
Yeah,
kids went there.
there's not enough players at the private school level. There's also not enough schools offering the opportunity to have a
Right.
lacrosse program at the school. Like Christian Academy is probably one of the first private schools around
Yeah.
this area to offer that at a private
Well,
school. Offer a
it's a
lacrosse
hard
program.
thing because, like, if you don't have like 15 to 20 kids in your school that actively want to play lacrosse right now, you got to go out and attract some, right? But how are you
I will
going to
say they
get
had, yeah,
how are you going to
they,
get a legit lacrosse player to leave a school that has a program
yes,
for one that's trying to start one? Because you might get stuck in limbo, So,
Right.
it's kind of a double-edged sword. They can't really get going until they get
I
going.
agree.
So you're going to struggle for a year or two at least.
Yeah,
But you got to
but
feel pretty confident that you can
I
get
will
it
say
off the
this.
ground. But
Yeah,
Christian Academy did a great job of getting in front of it, I think, and being one of
yeah,
the
but they didn't
pioneers.
have a terrible year last year either. They
They
had some
didn't.
great wins in their first season as a lacrosse program.
Yeah, I thought
So
they did a really good job of building that schedule and kind of easing into it, and it'll
yeah,
continue to grow. I
they
mean,
did a great job. They
um,
did a really good job building
somebody
this program.
somebody's gonna some SCISA school is gonna bring in like a whole team, like a whole fully made
Well,
team's just going to transfer in all at once, and that's
it's
going to start a trend.
not just lacrosse either. One of the other sports I'd love to see build across the private schools is softball. And Christian
Mhm.
Academy is
Oh,
going to be one of the first
absolutely.
private schools here in this area, apart from like Thomas Hayward and some of them up in the Ridgeland.
So
And yeah.
Hayward, Carleton Prep, Patrick Henry, like all the country private schools have had softball. It's odd that
Christian Academy, I will say, Christian Academy had a softball program for one season and then they cut it.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
really happy that they're bringing it
that's
back.
exactly what we were just talking about, where you try it and it doesn't get off the ground. So if any,
I hope
you
this
just,
time around. I hope this time around they try it and it can work out. I don't know how they're going to
I
make
think
it
so.
work, but I hope it works out for them, because I would love
I
to
think
see
it will.
because
And
Christian
go
Academy,
ahead.
apart from all the public schools, Christian Academy will be the only private school here in the Bluffton Hilton Head area to have a
Hilton Head
softball
Prep,
program.
Hilton Head Prep starting softball as well.
Oh, are they? Oh, very
Yep.
nice. I like that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, and
That's really great.
Cross has softball. JP2 has
Oh, yeah, that's
softball.
right. Oh my God.
Actually,
I'm an
Christian and
idiot.
Prep are behind. They're behind the curve. They're like the only ones in the area that don't kind of. So it's about
I am an
time.
idiot. I
But,
keep forgetting JP2
but there
has a
hasn't
softball program.
been massive demand for it though. Softball is another sport that is really growing in the area. I mean, if you look at the participation in our rec leagues in Bluffton over the last 10 years or so,
Yes.
it's crazy what's happened just in the last year or two. It's exploded.
Right.
Hilton Head's trying to start rec softball. They didn't have enough girls sign up last year, so they played in our league, but they're trying to get it going themselves. Buford is starting to really pick up on the softball, so it's coming around.
Well, I mean, look at all the players we have at the high school level right now that we got to see last spring. Like, some of these players grew up in the rec programs that we have. So this sport is not only growing at the rec level, but it is growing at the high school level.
Kev.
Well, really that's it. I mean, there was a time when it was like the Bad Cats, and then every once in a while there'd be another little, team pop up, and that was about it. Like there was not a lot of travel softball happening. Now Sean Gleason's got a really strong national program running out of May River, or mostly out of May River, wherever they got to go. But you've got the Bad Cats, you've got other groups they're coming through. Waves is now starting a softball program that's awesome. Flourishing. It's flourishing. Yeah. I mean, we got I think we got now we got 2 really good 10U teams. We got a good 12U team, a good 14 or 15U. I'm trying to get a 12U developmental team going so we can just keep more girls training. So,
Your daughter plays, doesn't she?
And we got
Yeah,
to see
she's-
some of those. We got to see some of those wave players at our One Loco clinic.
Yep.
On
Yeah, we
Sunday.
did. Yeah, you got to see Taylor Lynham, who's one of the
I
best
did.
young players in
I
the
did.
area. She's an
She's
absolute
something
animal.
else, man.
Tiny, right?
unbelievable.
Just tiny,
Tiny,
but so
Tiny but
powerful.
mighty. Yeah.
Oh my
tiny
gosh.
but mighty, man.
She's awesome.
I could have hit probably like a high school like ground ball
Yeah.
to her, and she would have stopped it, picked it
You
up.
were
and thrown it
you were smoking them at her, and she was not
She
scared.
was doing great with them.
Not
I
scared.
gave her a couple little
She's-
dribblers, and she did it with ease. And I was like, "Huh, I wonder." And I just decided to put some power into my swing towards her,
Oh.
and she picked that ball up like it was nothing. I was like,
She's
"Oh, this girl's gonna be something
she's a little
special.
animal.
She's gonna be special." I'm
she's
excited to work with these girls at our next.
she's a pretty
clinic.
good little gymnast too. So yeah, Finley got into softball just a couple of years ago. She resisted my overtures for a number of years because she's a rebel like that. And she did gymnastics until she got to a point where the tricks were too scary for her to try confidently. So she hit the wall there at like level 3, and then decided to go to softball, and she's fallen in love with it and wants to work and get better. So we're trying to catch up. We're a few years behind the curve and trying to catch up and take as many girls with us for the ride as we can. You know, that's kind of how we do it.
Well, look at
No.
So I have
No. And in fact, I didn't lobby real hard for Finnegan because I didn't want people to think that at the time. But it won Finnegan won the student vote.
I will say so I got, obviously we have all of our streams across our social media channels, but I also have my own Mad Max Broadcasts channel and my personal channel streaming these. And I just noticed that Lucas O'Grady had joined in to watch the live stream. So
there you go.
Hopefully he was
Nice.
watching while we were calling him out. So, but
There you
anyway, I'm so excited to do more One Loco softball clinics because from what I saw, I was like, we need more here. And
we're gonna get baseball going too. So if you want to bail on me and jump over to the baseball field, I won't.
Hey, I'll do both, man. I don't care. I'll do both if I have to. It's just fun to do it.
Yeah, well, the goal is to have simultaneous clinics going on in multiple sports every weekend where whatever you play, you come out, you show up between 1 and 5, you're coming out to get some work on Sunday, like.
Do you want to tell everyone when the next softball clinic would be?
Well, it's supposed to be this Sunday, but I'm looking at the weather this Sunday and
not looking
I'm
too
holding.
good.
Yeah,
I'm holding a day or two to make any official announcement to see if it's going to get better because right now it's looking like rain all day Saturday and Sunday.
And I tell you what, next week does not look good at all.
Cold early in the week.
Yeah.
Cold. But next weekend looks beautiful. The 25th, 26th is a beautiful weekend. So I'm thinking probably our next softball clinic will be on the 26th. That we'll probably have to scrap this weekend because in my experience, especially younger kids, you're not getting a productive practice in if it's raining and muddy. It's just
right.
Your balls get all trashed, and muddy and gross, and it's a bad experience. Yeah, I know your softballs. I was talking about your softballs, Marcus. Come on, man, get your head out of the gutter.
To go there.
It's for snow. No.
Yeah. Early next week.
No. And freezing rain.
Bad.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's bad, you guys.
Get ready to have an ice ball hanging off your nose, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. And we had a rip roaring. We had fun at softball, but they had a work session.
Oh,
they had a work session inside in basketball, didn't they? They were getting after it.
Fish was going at it, man.
Fish was loving life.
So shocking. It is so shocking that Fish is not coaching on a basketball team right now. It is just such a heartbreak because he has got to be one of the best basketball coaches in the area right now. And the fact that he's not on the team.
He's still coaching.
He's still
on
coaching.
every opportunity he gets, and
Yes,
we're happy to
but,
give him a platform to do that on
we
Sundays.
want to see him. We want to see him coaching at the high school level real soon because he deserves that, every bit of it.
I had a little thought last night, and I wondered about it.
Okay.
I wondered about a future at some point where Sharon Versup takes her immense Division I knowledge and expertise to an administrative role at some point, and somebody steps in to coach that women's team, and I just
Ooh.
had a thought. It crossed my mind about Fish coaching the USCB
interesting.
women
Yes.
someday, and
Yes.
I can't get it out of my head now. Like it makes so much sense.
Do it.
So I don't know. I don't
Do
know.
it.
I mean, obviously,
One day.
Quinn Monahan is currently the athletic director. He would have to make some sort of decision to move on or
I'll
something
talk to
for that
Quinn.
to happen. But
you give me. I know Quinn well enough. You give me the chance.
But-
I'll talk to Quinn about it.
But I've always thought that since Sharon took that job, I've always felt like, well, she's going to be the next AD at some point, right? Like that.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. I mean, Quinn's been here a good while. He got D2 across the finish line. I don't know what his plans are. His kids are grown. I would think, that he would at least be open to the idea of a move up at some point,
Two of his kids are currently in college right now, so and I know both of them very well, having gone to school with both of them over the years. So it's you never know if Quinn's going to step down anytime soon, but if it does happen, I think Sharon would absolutely be the next choice for athletic director, and
This is a great one. This is a great one that Libby brings up too. Lydia Gattosi as the future coach in waiting.
Point.
Let her slide onto the bench after she graduates, and
I could see that.
But I think
Fish
I remember calling her last year.
Fish and
What a player.
Katosi together. But I feel like Fish and Katosi together would be a great
right.
Great
Let her
fit to have
assist him.
for-
Yeah. I don't know.
USCB.
There's a lot of coaches out there. We're just dreaming. Fish at the Ville. We have made our overtures. We have made our overtures. We got him in that beautiful gym now. We're trying to. There have been many making overtures to Mr. Fisher.
By the way, I hadn't seen Hardyville's gym before. What a great
right?
venue.
Told
Really
you, I'm
cool.
not overhyping that thing. It's legit.
Really
It's
cool.
legit. It's not quite as cool as Colleton because they got a mezzanine and the drop down scoreboard, but it is right there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Colleton's great if you haven't been there.
I still haven't been to Colleton yet. I haven't been to Colleton. That's on my list.
It is such a cool gym. It is such a cool gym.
If it's anything like the football stadium and you've
cooler.
hyped up basketball big time, might have to get out there next year.
You got to. It's a cool spot.
Do some scouting.
If you can pull it off sometime next year or even later this year, and find a night when Salkehatchie Men are at home too. They play in Walterboro, USC Salkehatchie.
Oh, yeah,
They're like the
right.
highest scoring team in junior college basketball. Got an all international roster, first openly gay coach in college basketball history. Like it's a cool story happening in Walterboro, and if you can get a chance where you can double dip and see a game at the high school in there.
We were so excited when they made the national championship tournament,
yeah, man.
Getting to play there, support, and represent the low country area was really cool. So
it is.
Yeah,
it is the best in the area. I agree.
Salkehatchie
Bridge. The Salkehatchie Bridge.
I think some dude jumped off it.
That's a song about a gay man, allegedly. Interesting. How about that?
Really?
Well, there you go. How about some MVP sponsors? We got Base Hit Life, our official baseball and softball apparel partner. Great styles over at Base Hit Life. They've got t-shirts, hats, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff, including a hoodie that Max is often rocking and is rocking tonight. Calm your mitts. There's a sampling of what all they got at Base Hit Life. So go over and check it all out at basehitlife.com and live your best Base Hit life. We got homegrown home Yeah, man, get geared up. We got some One Loco gear dropping very soon. You guys
Yes.
got a little sneak peek
Yes, I
today.
got to see a sneak peek. How cool.
It's pretty
You guys are
pretty
going to love
cold.
it. It's really
It's
cool.
pretty cold. So yeah, we've also got homegrown home inspections, best home inspectors in the Loco. They'll check out that home, make sure it's built right. And if you're building a new home, you got to have their faith inspection. They'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with homegrown home inspections. Hospice Care of the Low Country, now one of the many prongs of Mirasol Health, providing all kinds of great services and compassionate care for life's most challenging moments. And the USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education, with all kinds of great programs to teach you about the Loco and why everybody loves it here. Go to the beautiful campus on Hilton Head Island to see the USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education. Those are our MVP sponsors. Still talking hoops tonight. No new scores trickling in at the moment, but Bishop England on top of the girls standing still undefeated there in Region 6-4A. May River still in the undefeated position, and boys standing 61-49 over Hilton Head after Hilton Head beat Bluffton the other night. So the merry-go-round spinning, boys. The merry-go-round spinning.
That's a mess. It's just gone round and round and round, and it's going to keep going round and round and round for the rest of the region tournament.
As the 6-4A world turns.
The world turns, and so does Region 6-4A, because my goodness, it's just like we did our rankings last night, and I was like, what do I do with these? it's just a big old mess, and this region is part of it. Like it's one of the reasons why this whole thing is such a mess. Plus, you got teams like Hilton Head Prep and all of them, and so it's just I mean, we've mentioned this before, like. Bluffton was going to lose at least 2 games in region play this year. They've already lost 1. More than likely, they're going to lose another one. May River eventually, I think, is going to lose 1. It's just
they will.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And so you just never know who's going to come out on top. And Beaufort, by the way, was close tonight. At one point of beating out Bishop England tonight.
They're going to beat somebody.
It was only
at least expect it.
It was only a 33-27 game at half. I was just like, wow, Beaufort might have a chance here. Obviously they didn't get the job done tonight, but it was closer than I think we expected it to be with Beaufort and Bishop England tonight. So you just never know in this region, like what's going to happen. And of course, tonight we didn't know what to expect between Hilton Head and May River, and May River gets the win. So it's just a merry-go-round of pure chaos. So we'll see what happens as the season continues.
And we'll see what happens with the girls as well. Like I said last night, I think the guys' situation, especially with the teams that I've seen, is a little bit harder to figure out just because they're beating up on each other as much as they are. I think there's a little bit more you have a little bit more of an idea of who truly is a contender amongst the girls, as compared to who just doesn't look quite like that. There are a few teams that are given everything they've got. Like I think of Hilton Head, you look at their record, it's not great, but they're giving it everything that they've got. Having seen them, and I'll see them again here soon, it's just seeming like the guys' situation and it's a little bit of on the average, it's a little bit of a different style of play too, and that's something to take into consideration always, because it's a different game. But it's fun.
And that's a role reversal, because the last few years it's been the other way. The girls have been a little stronger across the board than the guys, and now the guys have kind of caught up, because that one class graduating, all the kids in that 24 class, it was just loaded. So that has flipped around this season. And I mean, you saw it when we tried to make our power rankings. You're scraping for a 5th team in the girls right now. You're like, ugh, who's that 5th one? And then in the guys, you're like, ugh, how am I going to leave these 3 teams out of the top 5? So we just got a little more depth right now across the board and a little more parity. I mean, the couple of girls teams that are playing pretty well. Well, really JP2, I guess, is the only one that I feel like is kind of a little bit above the rest right now. The rest of the girls' teams, there's a big pack of them that are all kind of. I feel like if they all played 10 times, it'd be like 5-5, 6-4. You know,
Yeah.
like they're all pretty evenly matched. The guys' side is Harpring, the top male player in the Loco.
He's
How does
up there.
Amarion measure up to Harpring? Oh boy,
I
it's hard to compare
I think
them.
they're very different.
Hard to compare them. Amarion's more like Carnell in a sense.
Yes.
Amarion's a little more polished than Carnell. Carnell's maybe a little bit more explosive, athletic, but they're both just tremendous athletes. But I mean, I think Harpring is the most polished, the best basketball player in the area, and I don't think it's terribly close. I think he's the best. Harry is electric. He's a great high school basketball player. I think Harpring is the best right now, and I think he's got the highest upside.
I tell you what, it took a little bit of time. When you say Harry, you're talking about Harry Skinner, right?
Yeah.
It took a little bit of time for him to find his shot. I was really impressed the majority of the night, but especially early, what he was doing on defense. I mean, I'm going to use my patented line here. He was sticking to Colleton County like glue. Elmer's, Borden, you name it, he was sticking to him. And then, he got to the free throw line, made some things happen at the free throw line, and then the shots started to fall. And he did hit a 3-pointer, which was classic Harry Skinner. But he has more inside moves, as we've talked about in times past as well, just with the ability to go inside, find a layup or a jump shot inside the 3-point line. But he took a little bit of time to get it going, but once he got it rolling, I mean, he was the leading scorer for Bluffton tonight with 17, and he played really well. He's a good one.
Local player will best translate to the college level. I think it's still Harpring. For the reasons that he's the best player in the Loco, the same reasons, just the polish, the fundamentals. Here's the other thing, guys. He's averaging how many points? He's averaging how many points in the most patient and slow-paced offense you can imagine? Like,
right.
I think that dude could be putting up like 35 a game if he was playing in a wide open system. I really do. And that's not to criticize what they do, because what they do as well as any high school team can, and it's super effective. So, and it teaches them the game on a level that is beyond what most kids around here are capable of like at this stage in their career, understanding the game on that level. Like it's a math problem. And so I think Harpring is easily the highest upside kid. Amarion, though, beyond, like, if you're talking about who could potentially develop into a professional basketball player,
that kid's
it's maybe close. It's maybe closer just because of the size. And he's got the handle on the 3-point shot. If he got somewhere and grinded really hard, you could see him following a sort of Pringle-like path. So I don't know. It's hard to know. Is this the first time that you've learned that you have social media gold? Doggos more popular than all of us. Yes, let the doggos in, and we will go crazy. No matter, we'll drop whatever conversation's happening to talk about the dogs.
Yeah, sorry.
At least I will.
Yeah.
Nice and cool in there tonight.
Huh?
What's that?
I was gonna say, one of these days I'm gonna get Penny and Amy in here.
Yeah.
So you guys get to see that.
What are those doggos' names, Max?
They're amazing.
Charlie and Daisy.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not quite as well known on the show as Blue yet.
No, they're not there yet.
Nobody's quite to the level of Blue.
If Daisy gets excited, she starts like screaming for joy. Like she's just, I don't know. She's a different animal. I don't know if she's a dog, but I guess we'll find out.
Do have a couple more scores that popped up. Hampton County girls rout Barnwell 66-39. Sorry, that was the boys' score. Girls equally a rout 60-22 in favor of Hampton. So Hampton's still rolling.
They are.
Feel pretty good about putting them in my top 5 yesterday.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
taking a
Well,
look.
especially after
Yes,
Hilton Head took the L.
Yeah.
I did too. I put Hampton at 5 as well.
That's right. You did.
Followed your lead. So yeah, we're smart. Look at us. Look at us. We got one right. We got one right.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Blind squirrel.
That's right.
I'm still
No
looking
doubt.
for a couple other scores,
Yes,
but
I am too.
I'll throw a topic at you while I do. How about that? Little football news coming out today. We've got Brandon Howard, formerly, he was a Ridgeland Jaguar, and then he was a Thomas Hayward Rebel, and then he was at Charleston Southern for a couple of years. He got in that portal, and he got himself to UNC Pembroke. I'm going to play some D2 football.
Okay.
With a school we're familiar with. We've been talking about them a good bit when we talk about D2 men's hoops, because they got a really solid program. And we have another Lowco superstar up there as well at Pembroke. That would be Miss Abby Peduzzi, slamming it down on the volleyball court at Pembroke.
She's doing some great work at UNC Pembroke. Yep.
Yeah, she is.
So,
yeah,
really
we're
good.
Smart. Look at us. I don't know if you picked up on it, but I was definitely doing the Paul Rudd. Look at us.
Yes.
Look at us.
Little Paul Rudd.
I still have not seen a score yet for Hilton Head Christian Academy Lawrence Manning games. Those have not shown up at all yet. So we'll get them to you when they do.
Every once in a while, the score stream will come through for you. I haven't checked on there yet. Much more reliable for football than basketball typically. But here we go. Whale Branch boys over Lake Marion, 50-42.
Good.
That's a good win.
That's a good win. Lake Marion's never an easy task in basketball.
No.
Right.
We got some players up there usually. Let's see if we got any others in here. Ridgeland over Royal Live Oaks on the boys' side, 71-32.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. That was a beat down.
That JP2 score is still baffling my mind.
Yeah, right?
76-9, man. My God.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's just unreal.
Oh, no,
what was the other thing I was looking for? I have no idea what it was. Can't remember. Let's see here if I can.
99% of the time, or what is it? 70% of the time it works all the time. Is that it? Is that what he says? 75% of the time it works all the time.
Like
yeah, we're still looking for a few scores out there. Whammy!
What a great
I love Lamp. Yeah.
I have a very important breaking news story. Cannonball!
Cannonball. Yeah. All right, we've devolved into the Anchorman quotes.
Love it.
I can also go Ricky Bobby on you at a moment's notice. Got lots of Ricky Bobby quotes in me. I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey. I can do a whole thing about my baby Jesus. My baby Jesus in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says I'm formal, but I still like to party.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah. So yeah, we're running out of scores that we have at the moment. We've got what we've got. We don't got what we don't got, and one of those things is, it usually is. It usually gets to Anchorman quote.
It usually is.
Something like
what
that.
We do.
Anchorman 2, not so good though.
Welcome everyone to the Rated R
7 ounce baby Jesus in tuxedo t-shirt.
Welcome everyone to the
front row.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to the Rated R Loco After Dark. I'm Max Araj.
It's probably only like PG-13 or
this ain't rated R. Not even close.
Yeah. No, it's not.
we will have to bust out a rated R show at some point, though.
Dude, yes.
I will say, Under the Bus, they earn a pretty decent rating at times. They say some things.
Especially
They
talking about Coach Shane Beamer.
Curry
after the,
doesn't.
South Carolina Illinois
Curry
game.
doesn't
He
really.
He doesn't mince
That was funny.
words.
Curry doesn't really hold back. Curry lets
No.
it go. He's called
Yeah.
multiple
Totally cool
fan
with that.
bases the P
Totally cool with
word,
that.
including Duke and Philadelphia. He's called a lot of people the P word. He ain't afraid to.
Yep.
He's said some words that make me blush, and I don't blush often. But
Yeah, that's Curry
but
for
that's
you.
why we love. We do allude to balls frequently. We had your balls getting trashed on a muddy day the other day or earlier today. So nothing we can do about that. We're talking about sports. You're gonna have to talk about balls a little bit. You know, I
Right.
mean they're involved. They're very important. Yeah, Under the Bus. Exactly. Those fellas have exactly 0 left to give. If they ever had any, they ain't got any left. They're saying what they need to say. Rich holds back a little. Bob keeps it profesh. He tiptoes right up to the line. But Curry
goes all out.
he lets him rip. Curry lets him
And,
rip.
and I mean,
Always
Bob,
has.
Bob is the consummate host. He,
Yeah.
he's the guy that starts everything and ends
Yeah,
everything and makes
he's
sure
the
it
straight
flows.
man.
Yeah,
He's a straight
just,
man. Yeah.
just like yours truly
let
as
him
well.
know, if I ever
Yep.
have to go on Under the Bus for whatever reason, I'm on Under the Bus for a show. They should know I will be more like Curry than anything else because
Oh yeah.
There's
I'll
no
speak
doubt.
my mind.
Yeah.
You know, they need to know I'll speak my mind. But yeah,
Well, and I'm the guy who will follow your lead. If you start going blue, I'm going bluer. Like that's just where it's going. I will follow you into the dark.
Because they were talking about
and so does
South
Kev.
Carolina. They were talking about the
That's
South
right.
Carolina Illinois football game, and I just
Yeah, you're like
Kev.
3 generations. You're like 3 generations too young for Under the Bus.
no, man, totally fine. Get some life in there. No, I'm just kidding.
I get to jump in every now and then. We will have a new episode
I don't need to be on there.
tomorrow.
Huh?
We'll have a new episode tomorrow, 3 p.m.
Yeah, that's right.
We're doing
Should be
the
fun.
activity period.
They're gonna have a lot to talk about, especially the firing of Mike McCarthy in Dallas. I'm sure they're gonna have some fun talking about that.
Was it on today as well?
What's that?
No,
there wasn't a recording today. I thought you were
No,
saying last
it
night
was
there
supposed to be.
recording.
Well, it was supposed to be
for
tonight,
today.
but then Curry had a conflict pop up. So,
got
and
it.
I got USCB hoops tomorrow, and then I got a wrestling match. No, actually, I don't anymore. We could do it Thursday now if they want to, because the wrestling match got canceled. Again,
call Justin, fellas.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that. Yeah, you picked up my "I'll Follow You Into the Dark" reference. Our second one in a week or so. Libby made one previously. Varsity sponsors: DDS Web Design builds, hosts, maintains websites. So if you need one, get to ddshhi.com and get them on it. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us shine a light on the Loco frontier. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor of LowcoSports. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor, presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. And by the way, speaking of wrestling, we had a couple of scores last night come in. Beaufort knocking off Bluffton 43-33 in a duel.
All right.
That's a great win for Beaufort. I think if most people were guessing going into the season, they would have thought maybe Bluffton was the second best team in that conference behind in that region behind May River, but not looking that way. Beaufort has come on strong. Kobe Peeler has done a really good job of kind of just getting in the hallways and getting kids out for that program and coaching them up. So,
yeah.
And then May River, though, they're still the best team in the region. They walloped Hilton Head last night, 65-10. By the way, I said last night that I thought May River had won the Bobcat duels. I was wrong. They actually lost in the finals to James Island, one of the top teams in 5A. But
James Island's no joke
overall. So.
Yeah,
they didn't hurt May River's feelings to see them leave 4A because they were really breathing down their neck the last couple of years. So, but May River top team in 4A and looks every bit the part.
James Island breathed down everyone's necks in every freaking sport when it came to 4A sports last year.
I mean, you got a charter situation in Charleston, and we've seen that that's a pretty good recipe for success. You know, you
Yeah.
got a charter in a major population center. You're going to get really good at
Yeah.
whatever you want to get really good at because kids can opt in to come there, you know. So and that's a good scenario for them. Obviously the multiplier has changed the landscape, and that's why James Island is now a 5A school instead of a 4A school. And I think we're seeing that work very much so. You know, I think we're seeing the desired effect, which is you're putting the charter schools on a more even playing field, and especially by getting them out of 2A. That was really the biggest problem was 2A. You just had apples to oranges situations where, I mean, it wasn't even they weren't operating on the same level at all. So gosh, I didn't even realize. Yeah, I did make a breathing down their neck reference after Kevin Libby once again with the hot breath on their necks from Sandchuck Rewind the other night.
Oh man,
yeah. The next is getting hot. The next is getting hot. That's what he said.
I got some football news.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Clemson fired their defensive coordinator. I don't remember his name, so I guess that's a good thing.
Jimmy Luck.
Yeah,
Jimmy
probably.
Lake.
Jimmy Lake.
That's everybody's defensive coordinator's name. If you
That's
know,
gonna be a joke for years to come. Whenever we can't think of someone who they've hired and we don't know their name, we're just gonna be like, "Yeah, his name's Jimmy Lake."
James Pond.
Kevin Libby's not gonna like this actually. So Clemson has hired a new defensive coordinator, and the reason Kevin's not gonna like this is because it is former Penn State defensive coordinator Tom Allen has chosen to leave Penn State and head to Clemson. To be the new defensive coordinator for the Tigers. So sorry, Kev, but you guys are now going to be looking for a new defensive coordinator. So good luck with that. So that's a big deal for Clemson, especially because they're now bringing in a great defense that they have put together through the transfer portal with former 5-star defensive edge Alexander from Alabama coming in will help. Another defensive end from Purdue, and so they're going to have a really solid team. Peter Woods is still going to be there next season for Clemson, so that defensive line for Clemson is going to be really scary next season. Plus, Kate Klubnik's coming back next season, as well as most of their receiving core because they're all either sophomores or freshmen. So it's going to be a great season, I think, for Clemson next year, and they may be well on their way back if they continue to use the transfer portal. They could be a team to consider for making a deep run into the playoffs next season. So we shall see. But we are a long ways away from the start of next season. But I thought I'd just share with you guys that Tom Allen, the former defensive coordinator for Penn State, has decided to leave and head to Clemson to become the new defensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers.
Misa hasn't been keeping up. He didn't get our joke because we had a big joke about how the group text, other than Marcus, we were all stumped on the group text by who Jimmy Lake was.
Well, how did I not know who Jimmy Lake was? I'm a Falcons fan. I should know that.
Jimmy Lake.
I don't know.
Well, I guess we know why he's getting fired.
Yep.
Yeah. He doesn't watch the show. Yeah, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it on his cable.
Yeah, right.
I do have a couple of Libby loves getting called out. I do have highlights from Wes starting to load, but we may save them for tomorrow. Because it's almost 11 on a school night. We've been at it for almost an hour. And we should probably start wrapping it up. So how about a Loco Booster Club? Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court. They are with Charter One Realty, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, plus much more. So go check out their showroom on Argent Boulevard and see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland if you need a haircut or not. Go check out some great conversation and get your ears lowered at Jay's Barbershop, downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care, the Low Country, they all over the Loco, getting those floors so clean. Your feet will thank you. Hurricane Sports Cafe, the place to be in Hampton if you're hungry or thirsty. Get out there, say hi to them from the guys at Lowco. And finally, Hudson Seafood House on the docks, purveyors of great seafood, sunsets, cocktails, spirits, all the good things that Hilton Head Island has to offer.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Hudson Seafood House on the docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus, tentatively scheduled for 3 p.m. tomorrow, but we may pivot to a Thursday evening ordeal, depending on what the fellas want to do when I hit touch bases with them in the morning. But yeah, gonna be good stuff. That's our Lowco Booster Club. Please support them if you have the opportunity. Yeah, cables. I know cable's outdated. That was the point. He doesn't get it on his cable.
He doesn't get.
He doesn't have Paramount Plus. Misa is pretty much the most entertaining man in sport. I would agree. He's
Yep.
you know, an underutilized asset in the world.
Yes, he
we need to put him on more platforms, and especially this one. But he'll get his. Lowco FC season's coming around the corner. I think we got a bang up squad now with Max, Wes, and Misa. We got some serious soccer heads in the house, so that should be fun. Okay, boys, let's get to some parting thoughts. What are you gonna end on?
Good question.
I got one in the chamber.
Go for it.
Feel free to spill it out.
No, I'm saving mine for last. You guys.
Okay.
Well, first off, I still have not seen the score for the Hilton Head Christian Academy game. I have not seen any scores for that. But we'll obviously, like we said, we'll get them out there when we do get the scores. I did see. So Mike McCarthy obviously is a free agent. We did mention that the other night on the show after being basically let go by the Dallas Cowboys, saying they would not have him returning next season. And so we talked about Deion Sanders being an opportunity, as well as Pete Carroll and potentially Mike Tomlin. Well, it looks like Mike Tomlin is not going anywhere. It sounds like he's decided he's going to be staying in Pittsburgh for the foreseeable future. And there was no way the Rooneys were ever going to let him go. So, it was always going to be solely up to him. So
it would have been foolish, but what billionaire owner hasn't done something foolish at some point?
That's very true. Jerry Jones would be one of those guys. Anyway,
he's done just a couple foolish things.
Yeah. So the next question would be, where is Mike McCarthy going to end up landing? And obviously Chicago is one of the possible destinations for him. And that could be very interesting to have Caleb Williams working with Mike McCarthy. I think that could be a good fit. Also, New Orleans could be an interesting option as well for Mike McCarthy. I'm intrigued to see where he ends up looking, because I know he's going to be looking for a team, and I believe the Chicago Bears obviously a week ago were denied the ability to talk with Mike McCarthy, with the Cowboys saying that we are keeping Mike McCarthy for the foreseeable future, and then less than a week later they let him go. So it looks like hopefully Chicago will go back talking with them.
Salute.
Got another one in me.
Salute. And so we shall see where Mike McCarthy ends up going. I'm intrigued to see if Pete Carroll signs with the team, and possibly the Dallas Cowboys. Also, I did mention Deion Sanders. It had been told that Deion Sanders didn't sound interested, but apparently that interest has returned. So that could definitely.
I wasn't buying that nonsense last night.
Yeah. So that could be a possibility, but I don't know if he's going to want to go there and not be able to coach his son Shador. When I guess we shall see where Shador ends up going, because that could be interesting. Like I don't know where exactly he's going to end up going.
He could always pull an Elway or an Eli and force his hand.
If the Giants pick up Shador Sanders, I think immediately you got to fire Brian Drabble.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't feel like Shador is Daboll's guy at all. I don't think he's the Giants guy at all. The Giants are one of the most like toned down, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're not about a lot of pomp and circumstance. They're not a lot about like the Maras are very kind of conservative, and I don't mean that in the political sense, but like they're just far more conservative than your typical, first generation franchise owner. They don't like
And so
loud, flashy.
with that being said, more than likely, Shador will end up going to the Raiders in Las Vegas, and that could be an
I think
interesting landing
so.
spot
That
for
I
Deion
can see.
Sanders.
Possibly Cleveland, but I would think more likely the Raiders. That seems
I
like
don't
a
know
fit
if Cleveland's going to go after Shador Sanders. I don't know if they would. I'm intrigued to see if.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, it's a good
Bill
point,
Bill
Kev.
Belichick is dating a co-ed, right? Like that's crazy.
That's right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy work.
And
Crazy
so,
work, as the kids say.
with that would be said,
Wow.
the Giants need to look for a quarterback. That's kind of clear and obvious. So the question would be, who do they pick up when the draft comes around?
You don't have faith in Tyrod Taylor or Tommy DeVito?
I love DeVito. I do like DeVito. I think he's a cool dude, and I think he's had good moments as a quarterback, but he's not the answer for the future.
What if the Giants made a move for Kirk
Daniel
O'Chains? Kirk O'Chains. They already got Daniel Jones.
That's actually, that's not a bad idea. It's not a terrible thought. But I think at the moment, so basically,
they're not
the
going to
Falcons
keep
are
him.
saying,
Here's
No,
what Kirk's not going to
but
do.
here's-
He's not going to sit there and just be a backup for the last couple of
Agreed.
years that he could possibly be a
Agreed,
starter.
but
Right.
you know that the Falcons won't release him. They're going to try and
No,
get
they'll
a trade
trade him. Yeah, they'll trade him.
and it's what the Falcons will get in return for that trade.
Well,
Hopefully that
though
gets-
the biggest thing they'll get in return is taking his salary off the books.
That's true.
Right.
That is true.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they get that much. I think they get probably like a
Cleveland
mid-round,
could also
late-round
be a
draft
choice for
pick,
Kirk.
and then
I just realized we mentioned the Giants. Cleveland could also be a choice for Kirk Cousins.
yeah,
Could very well be.
he'll end up. I think they'll trade him somewhere that needs.
He's going to be a
insurance.
starting quarterback next year. There's no doubt behind that.
Well, I think he's probably going to land in a situation like this year where he's the starter until he isn't. Situation, or
I think he's gotten to that point
as
in his
insurance, as insurance for somebody who
because he's
is
just
drafting a rookie or has a maybe questionable quarterback situation they're not sure about, and they want him to be the second guy. Pittsburgh, even they're going to do something. They could do the same thing with him and Fields that they did with Russ and Fields. Kirk Dozier.
So are we saying
traditional
Russ
quarterback
return to Pittsburgh?
I don't think Russ is going back to Pittsburgh.
So where would he go? That's the question.
I don't know.
It's not the New York Giants.
There's 32. Well, maybe. I mean, there's 32 franchises, and they all got to have a damn starting quarterback.
The Giants
and
just
there's
got
not
more
that many
problems.
going around.
Yeah, but the Giants have more problems than just a quarterback right now, and I don't think grabbing a quarterback off the free agency is going to be their best option.
Of course they do. But that's what I'm saying. You got two different ways to address this, right? You've got free agency and you got the draft. If you're not convinced that any of the quarterbacks you can draft in the first round are it, then that's where you go, okay, well, we're going to address these other issues in the draft, and we're going to address quarterback and free agency.
That brings up another question. Are we convinced that any of the quarterbacks in this current upcoming draft, are they it? Like, do we think
I'm agnostic. I don't have a great track record of this, and quite frankly, neither does anyone else. And if they tell you they do, they're a liar. Because right here, our boy Libby is pointing out all the examples. Trevor Lawrence, he was the greatest, the absolute greatest, and he's not. Ryan Leaf. He was better than Peyton Manning. No, he wasn't. We don't know. You just don't know.
Look, I'm a Clemson fan, and even I can tell you Trevor Lawrence was never the best quarterback. He was great in college.
He was a generational talent. It was a can't miss prospect. This was the best quarterback prospect we've had in however long. And no, it's not that true.
He certainly was for Clemson.
The situation matters. It matters so much. Look at Ben Roethlisberger. You think Ben Roethlisberger would have become what he was if he had walked into a team that was picking second in the draft and didn't have an offensive line? Like, no chance.
No.
He walked into a situation that was ready-made and just needed a game manager quarterback to be successful, and he filled the role and he grew into it and he was great. But if he had gone into a situation like Alex Smith did in San Francisco or something, like, we'd be talking about a different story. Tom Brady
They
just gets a gift in his lap that he becomes the starting quarterback of a Super Bowl caliber team.
But
And
that's very true. The other thing
and
was,
then the path is set for him,
right.
so I think how it
But
starts
also,
has so much to do with
yeah.
how it finishes.
That's the same with like Aaron Rodgers too. Like Aaron Rodgers was put in a
Right.
situation where Brett Favre was the quarterback. Who knew how long
Patrick
Brett Favre was going to
Mahomes,
be in
like
Green Bay? You know.
you can go down
Yeah,
the list.
Mahomes,
It's a
Mahomes was
short
Smith.
list of
Alex
guys who
Smith.
started out in horrible
Yeah.
situations and ended up with good careers. Troy Aikman's one of them,
But
but there's not many
it's
of
not
them.
terrible situations. I mean, it's great to learn from a quarterback who's got significant talent and has been
Yeah.
a very solid veteran franchise quarterback over the years. So, like, for instance, Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. And in this situation, for me, it makes me think Michael Penix right now, currently in the NFL.
Mhm.
Michael Penix
Yep.
got to learn, at least for a full season, from Kirk Cousins, who's a veteran quarterback, has been a quarterback in the NFL for quite some time. So he's learned, the ropes. And I wish that was the case for a lot of other quarterbacks who are coming into the NFL. Instead of
that'd be great.
starting right
Just
away
throwing 'em
for
in.
an NFL team, getting to
Right.
learn under a veteran quarterback for at least a year so they can understand how the NFL runs and how it works, because it's a whole different level than college football. It just is. It has been and always will be. Just a different kind of football game when you get to the NFL.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think with that said, I think Cam Ward has a chance to be a really good NFL
I do
quarterback
like
in the
Cam
right
Ward.
situation. I think Shadur has a shot to be a really good NFL quarterback in the right situation. And beyond that, you just don't know. I mean, who's going to be the one that pans out? You didn't know a lot of these guys coming out of
Quinn
college
Ewers.
necessarily, but they're now.
Is Quinn Ewers going to the draft? Like, what's going on there? Is he going back for
Yeah.
another year? of college football?
I heard the other day that there were multiple teams interested on him if he's planning on possibly leaving Texas, and Ohio State is one
if
of
he
those
doesn't,
teams.
if he
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
leave
everybody's
Texas,
going to be on him if he leaves Texas.
Right.
but the thing is, if he doesn't leave
correct.
Texas, if he doesn't
I'm
leave
not-
Texas, then Arch Manning
I'm
is
not
gonna be
totally
going
sold
somewhere.
on. I'm not sold on Milroe entirely yet as an NFL quarterback.
So I don't
I'm
think
not either.
anybody really knows what's
I
going
think
on.
I think Milroe's got one heck of an arm. It's accuracy that I think is the issue for me
Yeah.
with Jalen Milroe. He's like a kind of a Lamar Jackson type quarterback. He's very fast.
Yeah, but
very
he's not
quick, very
quite as
agile.
dynamic as
No.
Lamar.
He doesn't
I-
have the arm.
I think
that
it could
Lamar
work
has.
out, but I think it's a little bit of a risk.
Yeah, it is a risk.
I do think
He's more for me as a project quarterback than would be a ready to go NFL quarterback.
Yeah, no, for sure. He needs to be in a good situation. He doesn't need to be starting right away. I think Jackson Dart from Ole Miss is interesting, and I think Kyle McCord from Syracuse is interesting. I think somebody could get late round flyers on them, and in 3 years we might be talking about them. But I don't think a couple others on this list. Riley Leonard, nah, I ain't seen it.
No.
Will Howard, I'm not convinced Will Howard's an
No, I'm
NFL
not
quarterback.
convinced on Will. Sorry,
Um,
Marcus, but I'm not convinced on Will Howard yet.
Yeah. I'll know a lot more about those two guys come Monday night.
But I
this
don't
time.
think I will.
True.
Because I
Possibly.
need to see another year of football, unfortunately, out of those two. But unfortunately,
sure.
those two has no more. They don't have
They're
any
seniors.
eligibility
Yeah.
years left. They're done.
No, they're done.
So they got to go to the NFL. And for me,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're NFL ready.
Yeah.
Because both of them have two teams that are very, very solid teams built around those two quarterbacks that they get to use and have at their disposal. I don't know how good they are yet. Like, I know Riley Leonard's a really good quarterback because he had a heck of a season when he was at Duke, and they had nowhere near the talent that Notre Dame has right now. Like Duke is not a team known for football.
No, they're basketball school.
And they started off the season that year beating off Clemson in the first game of the season at Duke. So
Phrasing.
yeah, Praise him.
Praising.
I like Riley Leonard. I think he could be a good quarterback in the NFL, but he's a
I just don't
project
see
quarterback right now
I
for
don't
me.
see the arm. I don't see the arm playing in the NFL, but we'll see.
I don't see the arm on. I don't see Will Howard being the answer
No.
either, because
Mm-mm.
he's been, for me, inconsistent. Because I've seen him a few times this year, watching him pretty much every week. Because I got a lot of family who are Ohio State fans, so I watch it with them, and they'll call me and be like, "Did you see that play?" And stuff like that. And the thing for Will Howard is he's he's in a system with probably one of the best receivers in the country right now, in Jeremiah Smith. You also have Ibuka. Mbuka is also fit. Like, he has a great receiving core. He has a great running back core. He's just got a really solid offense built around Will Howard. And I just haven't seen anything out of Will Howard that would show me that he could lead a team that doesn't have talent like Ohio State does.
Right.
So I just don't see it with either one yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, you guys, do we have other parting thoughts, or am I ready for my
I think
I don't have anything.
What's that?
I don't
We
have
good?
anything tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a bit of a somber note. We've had another death in our local sports community, unfortunately. Longtime umpire and official Bud Sullivan. If you knew Bud, you know he was a tremendous man. He was one of the sweetest men that I've known.
Yeah.
He was also the first umpire to eject me from a youth baseball game. 8U All-Stars. 8U All-Stars 2018, I guess it was. I earned it, but so did his partner. His partner had earned my wrath, and I said something that earned me taking a walk to the parking lot, and Bud stuck up for his guy. But we laughed about it many times, and Bud told me how right I was about my argument, and he watched my kids grow up. He was year after year, every spring we got out to play ball. There was Bud, and he was awesome, man. My favorite thing that he did is he'd always have some wooden nickels in his pocket, right? And he had made arrangements with the concession stand that he would settle up for any wooden nickels that got exchanged for treats after the games, because he'd be walking around calling the game on the field, and if a little boy or a little girl made a big play, and especially if it was somebody that usually doesn't make a big play, he'd go over there and he'd give him a wooden nickel, and he'd tell him, "Hey, you take that up there to the concession stand after the game and get you a treat." And he'd go settle up at the end, and that's the stuff that makes youth sports so beautiful, and that attracts all of us to it, is just that thing that the small, tiny little things. I mean, those kids are going to remember that man forever. And I don't think I've had a chance to talk to my kids about it yet. Actually, I mentioned it to my wife, but not to them. But my daughter's going to be devastated. Like, she loved Mr. Bud, like he always talked to her every time we saw him. And I've seen people pouring out on social media with the same stories, Allie Daly down at Hilton Head Prep, who's, they run Low Country Lightning, and they were involved with Hilton Head Baseball Association for so long. She said that, he was so great for her son Tug, because he was one of those kind of awkward kids that didn't have a lot of confidence out there, but he'd pump him up, and when he did something good, he'd hype him up, and that's what it's about. Like, I've been in coaches meetings in baseball and in wrestling where the official first thing they say is how many people they've thrown out, and they go straight adversarial right off the jump. And it's like, what are we doing here? We're both here for the same reason, man, to support the kids and give them an environment to perform. And so I love it when an official gets it and understands what their role is, and that it's not about wielding power or showing how much you know about the rules. It's about teaching the kids the right way to play the game, and the way you call the game can go a long way in doing that. It really
not
can.
only can it, it does.
Yep.
We see it. We see it.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Logo after dark choices. It's after 11.
We had
The
an umpire
FCC's
during
offense.
we had an umpire during my playing days. It was a lot like Bud. I can't remember what his name was, but we all called him the bubblegum ump because he would have his bag with all his umpire equipment full of
Hell, it might have been
bubble gum.
Bud. If you don't know his name, it might have been Bud.
I don't know if it was Bud or not, though. I don't know. I'll have to figure out. If you can get a picture of Bud, I might be able to tell you who it is. But like whenever we crossed home plate, no matter what, he'd hand us a thing of double bubble gum. Really cool dude. Kevin
knows bubble gum. He played men's league.
Oh, it must have been years ago though. Jeez. Because he was getting up there in age when I was playing HHBA baseball, you know. And he was one of the best umps I had ever worked and played with him as an umpire. He had the greatest strike zone ever. Like I had never seen an umpire, especially skeeza umpires. Don't get me started on those. And that's what an umpire should be. Someone who supports not only the sport itself, but the kids who are playing the sport. And I feel like that's the issue we have these days with some of the umpires and referees in our game today, is some of them don't understand this is a kid's game.
Yeah.
You know, work with these kids, teach these kids in certain moments if you have to. You know, don't just, tell, like, especially like Justin, like you mentioned, like umpires will start off in coaches' meetings saying, I've thrown out this many people. And I'm just like, when you said that, I was like, that is the dumbest thing you can possibly do is say,
oh yeah. Well, baseball umpires do it all the time. And kids baseball at home plate, they'll literally say, Coach, if you got a problem with me, bring it over to me privately, or you can go watch in the parking lot. And it's like, man, I'm sorry you got rejected from the police academy, but chill out. Like, cool.
Yeah, right.
This is ridiculous. And then we got a wrestling ref.
Why are they?
We got a wrestling ref. We got a wrestling ref that should have retired 20 years ago. Can't even get on the mat to call a pin because he can't get back up. And he starts the coaches meeting telling you that I still hold the record in Illinois for the most middle school coaches ejected. Go back to Illinois, Bo.
Exactly. Go back to Chicago.
Like, if you're going to start boasting about how many people you've ejected, clearly your time of umpiring.
Thank you for telling me how thin your skin is, jerk. Like, come on. Give me a break.
It's just, I've ejected 25 people in my days. No, like, how many years have you been doing this?
How many years have you helped somebody?
Oh, and we got hit with a who's coaching the ref over here the other day because we were saying, there it is. That's a pin. That's a pin. Come on, man. We're coaching a sport where you got to scream the whole time. We're going to say some stuff.
Yeah. Stuff you won't like, but it's stuff. Get some.
And it was a pin, by the way. He was pinned. Just slap the damn mat and let's go. All right, boys. I will end it on that. R.I.P. Bud Sullivan, one of the absolute best. He and the great Jerry Faulkner were partners in crime for a number of years. They literally ride to the games together and call them. And man, it's going to be
I remember Jerry.
It's going to be empty around a lot of. It's going to be empty around a lot of ballparks with.
I love Jerry. Jerry was cool.
Well, obviously a legendary basketball coach, but also a great umpire. Umpires plus control problems are whack. All right, boys. So that'll do it for tonight. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm. We're going to get some guests lined up for you later in the week. Had a busy night tonight with a lot of hoops to talk about, but we got Kieran McCardle probably going to join us one night this week, and we'll see what else is going on the rest of this week. We got a big night of hoops on Friday, and tomorrow night we got USCB Hoops in the Cove. I'll be on the call with I think Robbie's tagging along for the girls and the women, and then
what a great road trip for the boys, though.
Mr. Tony Bruin for the men, the Red Man. So, and he's bringing his squad. The Bluffton Middle boys are going to come over and check out the game too. So,
hey, that's
looking forward to that.
Gonna be
for sure.
Well, that men's team has been on a roll
Yes, sir. We'll see you in the Cove tomorrow night, and then either you guys will have to get it rolling early tomorrow night, or we'll have to bump back a little later since we got 5:30, 7:30 hoops in the Cove. That makes for a late night. So
Yeah, it does.
We'll figure it out. But either way, we'll be around here sometime tomorrow night to let you know what's going on in the Loco. With the Loco sports scene and a little bit beyond. We get out there into the national realm from time to time. So thanks again to all of our sponsors. Thanks to everyone who joined us tonight. And thanks to our buddies in the comments, Kevin Libby, blowing us up. Get the Bluffing Kids to troll, please. I don't think that'll be a hard sell. I think we can get the Bluffing Kids to troll. Put them in the student section and let them get after them, boys. So, yeah, Georgia College in here tomorrow night, North Georgia on Saturday at the Cove. And we'll be back here tomorrow night sometime to let you know what's going on. So thanks to everyone involved. And thank you, fellas, for being my wingman. Until tomorrow night, I'm Justin Jarrett. He's Max Araj. He's Max Araj. He's Marcus Walsh. And until next time, go Loco. The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go